All right, everyone. So I decided to make this little video about my 2017 Silverado 1500 LT with the LT Plus package. I've done a bunch of mods to it, and I thought I'd show you guys. There's not very many videos about these trucks and stereos and things like that, so let's check it out. So it's a 2017 LT with the LT Plus package. So first thing I did was the GM OEM tow mirrors with the new harness in the door, which I've rewired. I had the caps painted. This is tinted. This is now a turn signal and a marker light with the resistor mod. And also, this is now hooked up to my parking lights and my reverse lights. So when I go in reverse, it lights up the whole side of the truck. The amp power steps. Fantastic mod. I put a set of the rear mud flaps on. The fronts are going on soon after I get the Fox 2.0 coilovers and rear shocks. And shortly after that will be wheels. Got a Northern Tool toolbox with a custom-made rod holder. And onto the stereo. Sorry for the tools, I'm just buttoning this all up. But before I put the center console back in, I thought I'd show this all to you. Let's get this key out of here. So what I've done is I don't have the Bose. I have the IO6 with the most amplifier. So Access DSP is out, but they're actually working on a solution for the most amplifier. They have it, I believe, for the 14, 15, 16 with the IO5, but the IO6 is different. So for the meantime, I have a audio control DQ61. And don't mind this gets zip tied up under the center console away from everything. And I had this installed this little rotary fan down here, but I have the wire zipped it up. I put some nice Molex connectors on there. It's a little too loud, so I'm gonna run it for a little while with just the amp under there and see if I get protection mode or not. So, you know, if it's there, it's there. It's not gonna rattle or anything. So I have a custom amp mount. I made these, they're kind of hard to see, but there's these Delrin spacers I made for them to the amp under to get space under it. And then I use the stacking M3 holes and put, if you can see it, there's brass standoffs in there with a piece of Delrin with countersunk screw heads, and then these are drilled and tapped with helicoils in it. So the amp and the EQ also have a little bit of space in between for cooling. All the power and ground wiring is NVX. These are the shortest RCAs I could find. They're made by NVX. They're really nice. They're like 10, 12 bucks a piece. All NVX speaker wiring, all NVX power wiring, which is wrapped in EMI tape to reduce noise. And the EQ is powered off a spare fuse in that fuse box. And the Alpine bass knob is mounted in right here. You can bear it perfectly in there. I also have a trailer brake controller, which I installed. It's a modular one. Don't see any wires. The brain is in this fuse panel. So that's the amp and equalizer, and the amp and EQ. The EQ has a signal sense, so as soon as it senses signal, it pops on, and I get the key chime and the turn signal. It's not as loud as everyone says it is, but you really have to play with the gains of the input, the output, and the amp to really get it to where you want it with no distortion. And I highly recommend somebody coming to you and using an RTA and tuning your system. I had my buddy come, Ben, shout out to Ben, and he came and tuned the whole system, and it's absolutely incredible. And with the bass knob for the audio control, which is going in the center console, the lights bother me at night, so that's going to go right up in the center console, like right there inside. Because I hopefully plan to remove the DQ61 at some point and put in the audio control, not the audio control, I'm sorry, the Access DSP, which has 31 bands of EQ on Bluetooth, And as my buddy Ben described it to me, like the difference between a 7-band EQ and a 31-band EQ is like, imagine slicing a pie with an axe versus a really nice knife to get all the frequencies right in the broad spectrum. And it's absolutely incredible. You can turn the EQ on and off and it's just unbelievable, the difference. So I ran all the wiring and hooked everything up myself and did a basic tune and waited for him. And all the doors have, these doors have JL Audio C2 components, and the tweeter is up here. And I made a custom mount out of the old speaker and some thin Delrin and a router and a hole saw for the tweeter. Everything's wrapped in Tessa tape that's under here. Everything. They all have the foam, I forgot the name of it, but they're foam rings that go on the inside of the speaker, the outside, and there's a foam like block that goes inside the door. So that's in all the doors. I ran all my own speaker wire into the doors. These are coaxial JL Audio C2s. And then for the sub, let's get back here. It's nice not having the center console, and you can really move around. Hold on one sec, let's move some of this stuff. So I bought a generic sub box, which fits in, no problem. And I had the tray that fit in the truck when it came with it. So I cut the tray. Shout out to Stephen Clip for helping me with all this. And we flattened down and redid the one mount. So it's fully secured, drilled new holes for it. And we re-put these in, so I have spacers. We drilled these back in. And now I got the sub box, which I didn't use this connector. I sealed this all up. It's siliconed all in the back. Everything is sealed. And back there is a speak-on connector we installed in, so it's easily removable. And it's a Focal PF30 sub, I believe. And we made these little mahogany mounts on the side and these rails to protect the speaker, and so it wouldn't, you know, sit so close to the floor, pushed up a little bit, because that side mount isn't that great. And, you know, under the, I believe the drive shaft is under here. It just, you know, gives it a little spacing up, but not enough. So that thing sounds great. Oh, I also totally forgot this. When I bought this truck, it was cloth. And on eBay, I bought the Katzkin's Leather Kit for this truck. And I pulled all the seats out of the truck with less than 1,000 miles on it. And my girlfriend and I, shout out to Julia, we reupholstered all the seats in my house. And they came out absolutely fantastic. Check them out. So that's my truck. Stay tuned for the Fox Shock install, new wheels, and shortly after that I'll probably get I do a lot of towing, and well, not a lot, but I do enough, and we'll install a set of bags instead of the bump stops, a little compressor, and I think that's going to be the most of this truck. So stay on the lookout, and hope you enjoyed the video.